This is a moment in Jewish history. Krav Maga is a fighting style developed in Israel and taught in the Israeli Defense Force to police and to private citizens. It was developed as a method for anyone to learn self-defense quickly. Krav Maga was created by Imi Lichtenfeld, who developed the method while fighting anti-Jewish gangs in Bratislava. He escaped Europe during World War II and moved to Israel, where he trained IDF soldiers for over 15 years. The following is a recording of him giving a class in the 1980s.
Everybody can learn it, and everybody must learn it, not only Jewish. The Jewish people in Israel need friends. And the easiest thing to make friends with martial art with young people. They get respect and automatically respect for the Jewish community in the whole world. And we too. And that is for us most necessary.
Born in Budapest, the Lichtenfeld family moved to Bratislava, where his father, Samuel Lichtenfeld, ran a gym and taught boxing and wrestling. In the 1930s, anti-Semitic gangs began to form in Bratislava. Imi Lichtenfeld helped defend Jewish neighborhoods with other Jewish boxers and wrestlers. This is when he developed a style more suited for actual street fighting as opposed to in the ring. In 1940, Lichtenfeld left Europe to relocate to the Land of Israel, then under British control. He boarded a ship called the Pancho, which picked up other Jewish refugees and concentration camp survivors fleeing from Nazi-occupied Europe. During the voyage, a child almost drowned in the water. Lichtenfeld dove in to save him. He developed an ear infection as a result. The vessel was shipwrecked off the coast of Greece, and Lichtenfeld was among those who were sent in a rowboat to get help, eventually being located by the British Navy. Lichtenfeld was then drafted into the British Army and served in the Czech unit. In 1942, he finally immigrated to the Land of Israel and joined the Haganah, the pre-state defense unit. There, he trained members in hand-to-hand combat. After Israel's independence and the creation of the IDF, he served for over 15 years as an instructor, where he developed the Krav Maga system. In 1964, Lichtenfeld retired from the army and opened a Krav Maga school in Netanya. Since then, the system has spread throughout Israel, being taught to children and senior citizens as well as security and police. Lichtenfeld emphasized self-respect and values and taught his students to avoid confrontations and to use force as a last resort. In 1978, he and senior students formed the Israeli Krav Maga Association and later the International Krav Maga Federation. The following is from a news broadcast from 1981 during a Krav Maga seminar in the United States.
Imi Lichtenfeld is 71 years old, but he's more than a match for attackers half his age and twice his size. He learned to be tough as a young man in Bratislava, Czechoslovakia. When Nazi youth gangs roamed the streets in the 1930s, a Jewish boy had two choices, hit or run. Lichtenfeld hit back, and those down-and-dirty street brawls were the beginning of a self-defense technique he now teaches to Israeli soldiers and police. It's called Krav Maga, Hebrew for contact fight. It's similar to judo or karate, but anything goes.
You use it if you have to use it, but try not to use it.
There are two rules. Don't use any more force than you have to, and don't get hit. And in just a few minutes, I learned the technique of fending off a blow from any direction.
Outside.
Israeli children learn Krav Maga in school to build confidence and self-discipline and the skills they will need to fight in the Israeli army.
But there are others credited with helping establish an Israeli martial art in the early years. Yehuda Marcus, who escaped Germany, came to Israel with the Hechalutz movement in the 1930s and helped write a book in Hebrew called Practical Judo. There was also a book published in Hebrew in 1930 called Jiu-Jitsu and Self-Defense, which was used as a training manual for the Haganah. It was written by Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais, who later became famous around the world for the Feldenkrais method, a type of exercise therapy used for pain relief. But that is a story for another time. If you would like to hear more about any of the stories I briefly touched upon in a future episode, leave me a note at benbresky.substack.com. This has been a moment in Jewish history. Thank you to all the listeners, and Shalom.